Hi, welcome back to FireEye Education. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about cooking fires. What we can do to, one, avoid them happening, but secondly, what we're going to do in the event of actually having a cooking fire. Now, in regards to avoiding having a cooking fire altogether, first thing to do is to never leave your cooking unattended. Make sure that you are always present in the kitchen with your cooking. The second thing that you can do to help prevent cooking fires is to make sure that you have the best equipment possible to deal with a cooking fire if it does happen. And the best bit of equipment in this case is a fire blanket, something like this. Now, it's really important that if you do have one, that you put it somewhere that isn't underneath your stovetop. Imagine that if you have a fire and it's on your stovetop, how can you access your fire blanket if it's right where the fire is? So we have to make sure that they are away from the stovetops. Some people mount them on their walls, a central point that has some signage to show everybody in the house where the fire blanket is kept. Of course, you don't have to do this, just make sure that it's kept somewhere that you can access away from the fire. Fire blankets cost around $10. It's absolutely worth your investment. They work far better than a wet towel or a wet tea towel. If for whatever reason you don't have a fire blanket but you do have a fire extinguisher, you could potentially use this if it's a dry chemical powder extinguisher. Remember that they are identifiable by the white band around the cylinder. But it's very important if you're going to do this that you make sure you approach from a distance of at least 3 meters. Because high pressure comes out of the extinguisher, if you approach your cooking fire and put the extinguisher right into it and you discharge it, there's a good chance it's going to go everywhere, which will only make that situation worse. The other thing to not do is get a cup of water and put it on your oil or fat fire. If you do this, it will expand at the same ratio that water expands to steam of 1 to 1700 times. This will create a very nasty situation that will spread the fire and burn you. So never put water on a cooking or fat fire. If you ever use a fire blanket on a cooking fire, remember that you must dispose of it straight away. They are one use only. And for the small price of about $10 to $15, it's worthwhile ditching the one you've used and buying a new one. Now that we understand that you should never leave your cooking unattended, we understand what kind of equipment we need, as a fire blanket would be the absolute best choice. Let's talk about what we're going to do in the event of a cooking fire. So the first thing I'm going to do is access my fire blanket. I've grabbed it from its safe location wherever I've stored it, away from the stove. Once I get my fire blanket, the first step is to remove it. Now to do that, I'm going to grab onto these 2 black tabs and pull down. Once I have removed the fire blanket from its package, the next step is to make sure that I am set up to approach my cooking or fat fire. The way that we do that is by having both hands on these black tabs. So the black tabs always face you. Once I've got these tabs, I want to twist my hands, making sure the fire blanket wraps around my forearms like this. This is going to help protect my hands and forearms when I walk into that fire. The next step is to approach from a distance, but only if you ever feel safe to do so. If you don't feel safe, remember to evacuate your home straight away and ring the emergency services. But if I do feel safe to do so, I'll go through these steps. I've got the fire blanket and I'm approaching from a distance. I'm going to place it over the pot. I'm going to pat the rim of the pot. And if I had access to the lid, I could put the lid straight on. The next step is to turn off the heat to the stove and turn off your exhaust fan. And at this point, you should ring the emergency services. Even if the fire's out, it could have potentially spread up into the exhaust fan. The fireys can come and examine it with their thermal imaging cameras to make sure there has been no fire spread into your exhaust fan. At this point, do not touch the cooking, just leave it and wait for the fire service to arrive. Your pot will be extremely hot, and if you grab the handle to try and take it outside, you're only going to risk burning your hand or dropping it and then spreading hot oil and fat all over the floor. It's better just to leave it and wait for the fire service to come. Thanks for watching the video today. I hope that now you understand that you should never ever leave your cooking unattended. But if you ever do have a cooking fire, you know what you need to do to try and stop that fire and keep yourself safe in doing so. Fire blankets are the best choice to handle a cooking fire. And always remember to turn off the heat afterwards, turn off your exhaust fan and ring the emergency services. And never try and move a hot pan, it will be extremely hot. And never put water on a cooking or fat fire. Thanks for watching the video today. If you have any questions about anything we've discussed, please let me know in the comment section. You can also follow links to more detailed tutorials about some of the topics that we've discussed in the links on the screen.